Yo, Navi Mac Life. All right, so back here with another video. It's been a minute since I've posted lately, but here I am doing the 4,000 mile review on the Honda Navi 2022. So things that I've noticed. Well, I mean, the bike's been pretty good to me. I do hear, when you're going about 50, 45, 50, I hear rattling, just slightly rattling. You can kind of hear the belt. But I mean, it's nothing major. Bike's been pretty decent for me. With upgrades, what have I noticed? Vance and Hines exhaust, the baffle was rattling a little bit, and since they sponsored me, I let them know, but that can be, that can be a common thing with motorcycles. So my cure to that was to buy some baffle wrap, and I can leave a link in the description where to get it. I got it on Amazon. If you watch one of my previous videos, you'll see how I wrapped it. But that did help it 100%. Actually, at first it helped it 90%, but I had left just a piece of the baffle uncovered, and I could still hear like a slight tinging when I was riding, and I was like, I wonder if that's because I just didn't get that little tiny piece, only about an inch. And it was it. So I had to cut another strip, put it on there, and now the whole baffle is fully covered. No rattling whatsoever. Let's see, what else have I noticed? When you're riding this thing, I've mentioned this in my other videos, just make sure like every so often you guys are like checking all these screws. Okay, this was so loose I could loosen this by hand. This one was loose. This one used like, slight turn on this one, but just not there. Check everything, make sure everything's secure. Don't just get on your bike and go. This is not the bike for that. This is, I mean, you should be doing that on any motorcycle. Once in a while check your bike, but on this particular bike, I mean, you need to be checking it. I check it every ride. Do I check every little screw every time? No, but I will check, I'd say probably every other ride. What I do check every single ride is tire pressure. So you want to be at 22 PSI in the front, 29 in the rear. If you have a back passenger, you're going to bump that air pressure up. Just guys, grab your manual. There's an owner's manual. Your bike came with an owner's manual. I see so many questions on these Navi Facebook groups. What is this? What is this? How do I do? All these questions can be answered if you guys would just open up the manual. I mean, 90% of these questions are in the manual. The most notorious one is, what is this? I mean, come on guys, it's in the manual. This right now, this is on the on position. So this little notch here, that is facing down. That means it's on. If it's here, pretend that's like a little O. That's off. When it's up, that's your reserve. So if you ever run out of fuel, turn that up. You should get roughly an accurately, you should get about 14 extra miles if you're running out of gas. So you'll hear it bogging, go ahead and turn that up. When should you have this on the off position? Well, I could do it now since I'm going to be doing, a lengthy video here. So I can just shut it to the off position. Can you have it on when you run into the store or something? Yeah, absolutely. It's not the end of the world. So I have the man in the box intake. I have the Vance and Hines exhaust. Did I rejet it? No. Will I rejet it? Yeah. Am I harming the bike? Not necessarily. I'm in the Chicago area. It also depends too with these carbureted bikes where you're from when you're upgrading to these performance parts. So will I rejet it? Yeah, I'm going to try to get a little extra performance out of this. So I'm going to wait till the winter though. It's summertime. Summertime I ride. I'm not trying to take this bike apart, do all these little I just want to ride. So I'll do that in the wintertime. Other things you guys have I noticed with the 4,000 miles, upgrade your seat. That'll make it a lot more comfortable. Mine's from Cheeky Seats. Shout out to Susie. Thanks from Cheeky Seats. Super cool. They have great customer service, great quality seats. And then the tires, 4,000 miles. These are the stock OEM original tires. They're decent. They seem they're doing all right. A lot of people complain about them. But that one looks good. I'm kind of... let's see here. We got, we still got traction. Everything looks decent. Do I love the tires? I mean, they're all right. I don't hate them. Most people hate them. First upgrade you got to do is a tire. Listen, I'm in Chicago. If you're telling me you got rougher roads than me, I don't believe you. I mean, unless you're in India. And I know they have the Navi in India, but I've hit potholes. Our roads are terrible here. So for me, I mean, they're fine. Will I eventually upgrade, to a little bit better quality? Yeah, I will. A lot of people ask about the braking on this thing. Is it great? It's decent. It's not terrible. I'm not one of those guys complaining online about it. I mean, I have 4,000 miles on it. Never had one braking issue on it. So it's a fun bike. I love riding it around. There's a lot of guys, they buy them and then they get rid of them right away because I don't think they expect what it is. I mean, guys, it's technically a scooter in disguise. So it's CVT transmission. It's a smaller bike. It is bigger than a Grom though. So if you've never seen a Grom in person and a Navi next to it, the Navi's slightly bigger. I call it like the bigger brother. But you gotta just kind of do your research and see what kind of bike is for you. It's perfect beginner bike, but you're not gonna learn how to obviously shift since it's just twist and go. But it is good. I always say this type of bike is good if you're new on a motorcycle. It helps you get familiar with your surroundings, watching the roads, watching cars around you, pedestrians. That is a whole thing in itself. Okay, that's a whole thing in itself. Shifting, learning how to learn a clutch, that's a whole thing in itself. So when you ride this, take all that into consideration. Any other things I've noticed with this is, I mean, nothing. This thing's held up great. Just like I said, just tighten the screws and you'll be good. Check your tire pressure every time. I always keep tools in here, sockets, just in case. I do recommend getting another type of an exhaust, whether you guys are using it for performance or, when I hear performance on this bike, I mean, come on, it's a Navi. For me, it's just a cruiser. So if I want performance, I'll go ride one of my other bikes. But it's fun to toy around with. I honestly did a lot of this just for like cosmetic purposes, just because I like the look of it. The main thing I was waiting for, as you guys know in my videos, was the Vance and Hines exhaust. I just wanted an exhaust on this thing. I could not stand looking at that stock exhaust. It was so goofy looking, kind of embarrassing. I literally had people I was watching them in my mirror and they were behind me at a stoplight and they were like, I could tell they were like, oh, that's a cool bike. And then they were pointing down and then the other guy's looking over and they're pointing at my exhaust when it was stock. And I just both started laughing because, it's that big old pipe and that tiny ass hole. So I'm like, I got to get rid of this thing. Things I dislike, I mean, maybe I wish the front suspension was a little bit better. I upgraded the rear. The rims, I wish they kind of made the rims a little bit cooler looking. They look like a donut rim wheel that you would buy on a cheap car, but I get it. They had to keep the price down. I just think they could have done something a little bit better with that. So if you guys are wondering what else I've done to the bike, a lot of that's in my other videos. The windshield, the rear rack, the shock. I've upgraded everything. Mainly, I've got other things that I'm doing that are sitting in the garage. I got the LED there's a 7-inch LED Jeep headlight you guys can buy. It's on Amazon. It's like $35. It's cheap. It's round. It's nice. It'll actually fit in here. So when it's round, but so you might have a little bit of gap, but you can use like black type of foam insulation or something to kind of like cover that up. It won't look bad. I've seen pictures. It'll look good. I got it. I just haven't gotten to it. I want to also Get rid of these goofy things in the front and rear. Just haven't had time. Something a little bit cleaner looking. One other thing, 4,000 miles. The only other issue is, so check the bolts. They do come loose because this bike rattles. And the other main thing you do want to check, and this has happened to a handful of people. If your bike, I'm going to have to show you, but if your bike ever just suddenly dies and you know you're not out of gas, well, I mean, did you hit the kill switch? Okay, no. All right, well then the other thing, or did you accidentally hit the kickstand? No. Okay, what I noticed when I was riding, the bike just completely shut off. This has happened to a few people. Check your spark plug. So what you're gonna do, and you guys aren't even gonna be able to see this, but where your spark plug is, there's a let's see if we can get to this here and show you properly, which is probably not gonna happen. There's this black, it's right here, not this thin one. That's just part of my wiring. It's this thicker one here, right here. You see that? Okay, see where it goes up to, see that little white dot there? I marked that. There's your spark plug inside there. This is the boot. This black cable has been falling out of people's bikes. So it's technically a wire that goes up to the spark plug. If that slips out, your bike's gonna die. And it happened to me. So what you're gonna wanna do is get your hand in there, push it back into there. If you do push it back, technically you should take the boot out of the spark plug and twist it back in there and wire it the correct way. But if you do push it back in there, it will start again, and you will be fine. From the factory, they're just like throwing it in there, or they're just not tightening it down the correct way. What I also did too, guys, is I mean, it doesn't look great. I'll clean it up another day. I gotta Dremel this, so I cut away here just so I can get my hand in there, because it's just access for me. That's it, to get back there. Nobody knows, unless you own a Navi, but nobody knows I cut away that little piece of plastic. You can still get your hand in there though, if you don't cut it away. It's just, if you got a big hand, you might have trouble getting that back into the spark plug, but that's going to be your main issue. That's happened to a lot of guys. So that's all that's happened to me, which was a simple fix. That, and you know, the bolts coming loose here and there. Other things I can think of, brakes are still fine. Everything's good. Everything's been running great on this thing. No issues. I always put 87 regular fuel in it. I always keep it, remember to go, when you got the gas tank open, there's that little metal bar in there when you fill it up. Just go a tad over that. Don't go over it. Don't fill it to the top. You're not doing yourself any favors there. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be the end of this video. This is the 4,000 mile review. Hope you guys are out there staying safe, enjoying your time on your Navi. It's a fun bike. I love riding it, just cruising around. That's what it's mainly for. But I'll be taking it for a big ride today, probably tomorrow. It's gonna be nice all this week, and then it's dropping down to like 60s and 50s. So I'll be ready to hibernate this winter, because that's what I do. Anyways, I hope you guys liked the video. If you got any other questions, just leave a comment. I try to reply to everybody's comments. Even you cool guys who tell me that my hat's too small, or you know, whatever. Thanks. Sure, you're a real good looking guy yourself. Anyways, remember to comment, remember to like. If you want to be, you know, if you want notifications, hit that little bell. That'll let you know every time I upload a new video. And if you can, please subscribe. I know some people don't understand what that means if you're not familiar with YouTube, but when you subscribe, that helps my channel. That makes it all worth me doing all this. Otherwise, I don't know. Is it worth it? I don't know. But if you can just hit subscribe, I'd appreciate it. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one.